Oh, hi all, welcome to the 1 minute farming videos. And yeah, that doesn't look very John Deere-ish, does it? Old flathead V8 Ford. I always wanted one. Of all the V8s I rebuilt, or played with, we never got round to playing with one of these. Yeah, it's a while since I posted a video. I think it'll be at least a good month. And yeah, tractor hasn't changed much. The biggest problem being is that the tractor's needing, the main thing now for this tractor is getting paint onto it. And just of late, I mean, it's just been terrible. Wet, damp, miserable weather and everywhere's sweating up. And so it doesn't help with trying to get anything painted. I do have that plough that I think you've seen on occasion. There's an odd video of it. And that plough was painted in similar conditions. And the paint on that is already coming off. In places. It does not sit right when it gets damp. And as I say, just recently we've had a lot of damp, misty weather, which hasn't helped the issue of painting stuff. Now we are due a few dry days coming up, so I'm hoping that we'll try and get some bits painted again. But no, that was my latest acquisition, the old V8 Ford flathead. I have plans for it, but I'm not going to talk about them much yet. So that's that. So what we are on with, or we're about to start with, is down here in the more darker recesses of the old workshop. And as you can see on the floor here, we have a leaky roof, and this is dust from the summer that has just turned into mud. The roof on this shed is getting a bit worn, it's about jiggered really. But round this corner we have the BN that I have with the saw bench on it, which is used quite a bit this time of year, obviously cutting logs. Now I have been having a lot of bother with this tractor lately, not starting well and not wanting to run correctly. And a few days ago I was just fiddling around with it and having a look at it, and it seemed to me that when you put it under load, the governor did not seem to have much input into how well the engine ran. The arm was moving, the governor arm, if we can see it round here, I'll come back round. So the arm under there is moving, but it does not seem to want to move in relation to anything on the carburettor. So I reset all the linkages, this linkage and the one going to the carburettor, and to where I think they should be and where I've read that they should be, and still not much difference. And then I noticed that the arm itself, the cast iron part, was binding underneath on the dashboard. So I thought, that can't be right. So I stopped it from binding, and then we realised, if I get the torch here, I'm going to just stretch over here to save us, let's see if that's better. So there's the arm, the cast iron arm under there, comes off the top of the governor. I've then noticed that this arm is going far too back. You see what I mean? It should sit about there, and all its input should be forward. So when you open the throttle hub, this spring reacts on the arm, but the arm should not move much more than parallel backwards from the back of the governor. But this one is swinging way too far. So I'm beginning to think, well, it must be, there's something has either slipped inside the governor housing or something has collapsed. Now I know when I rebuilt this governor, one of the few things that I didn't replace was the thrust bearing on the little slidey sleeve that runs on the shaft inside the governor. I didn't replace it because A, I couldn't get one, and B, I think, if I remember right, it wasn't in that bad a condition. But I'm just wondering if this bearing has collapsed and therefore is allowing it to move further than it should. Because what's happening is obviously the governor is working with the weights and that, but the weights, when they're working on the little paddle finger thing inside, shaft forked thing, it's obviously working. Before it works, it has to be right, the arm has to be right back here for the forks to work off the bearing and the sliding sleeve, where it should actually be working there before working there, but it actually has to go right back. So I'm guessing that the sliding sleeve's moving, but it's not actually contacting with the fork on the bottom of the arm. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So the plan is to take the bonnet off, obviously, take the steering column out. We'll have to drop some water out, 'cause we might have to take that top metal hose off. I don't know. We certainly will have to take the temperature gauge sender out. And the plan is to remove the governor and just give it a good once over, see what's going on. This tractor was one of the first that I rebuilt. A good, well, the tax disc, the last tax disc I got was 2015, and I think I'd taxed it 3 times before then. So that makes it 2012. So it's a while back when it was rebuilt. So nothing should really have failed on it yet, but obviously it has in the governor department. So the plan is, as I say, let's have a look at that governor, and we'll see what's happened. Because it's the only thing now that I can think has failed, because I've been through everything 2 and 3 times. Carburetor, magneto, adjusted those linkages, twisted the magneto round backwards and forwards to see if I can get anything different, and nothing. I'm not getting a thing, any difference. But what I do believe is that arm on the governor is nowhere near being controlled by the bob weights inside. It's obviously too far out of sync, as it were. So yeah, so that's where we are, folks. Yep. As I say, hopefully if we can get a chance, we'll do some painting. It is drying up a bit now, but just lately it's been terrible. I couldn't paint anything with any happiness, really. That's for sure. Yep. So okay, well that's where we are. Thank you. You'll see some more videos on this soon. Alright then, bye.